Hi everyone, these are the hands of Chris Hamm, lead developer for Kolossal Games, trying to bring you a home edition of Kolossal Plays, where we are all hunkering down in response to the coronavirus epidemic around the world. We certainly hope you're all staying safe. What I'm going to be showing you tonight is the early stage version of the solo game rules for for Ruination, which are now Ruination is now in its final 48 hours on Kickstarter. Ruination, the base game itself, is designed by Travis R. Chance, and it's a dudes on the map uh, battle for supremacy in the wasteland post-apocalyptic world. So what I've done here is work on a solo mode that we mentioned in an update that we're going to bring to everybody, and I'm going to show that to you tonight. Now, I'm not going to go into all of the detailed rules. There are some how to play videos on the Kickstarter. So what I will do is I will play and I will commentate somewhat as I go. What I can tell you from the start of the solo mode and how it differs is that you are attempting to overthrow the Khan. Yes, I know it's unthinkable. It seems like folly, but that is the goal. You wish to be the new Khan. And if you want to be the Khan, you got to beat the Khan. And the only way to do that is to win a battle at the Khan's Citadel in the Khan's region. And all of the other hordes, they think this is foolhardy, of course, and whether out of loyalty or fear, they remain at the service of the Khan, and you must defeat each of their home territories and wipe them off the map, and eventually that will allow you to assault the Khan's region, and once you've cleared that, the Citadel itself. Now, from a rules perspective, as the player, your turn will effectively be exactly the same as it plays in the regular game. You'll select one of the available actions, resolve the various portions of that action card, and complete your turn, resolving any battles that may result due to contested territories, meaning your troops and the troops of another player, which in this case is the Khan. The only difference that will occur on your turn in that regard from a standard game is the fact that after you've completed your entire turn, you have the option to take an end of turn action. The end of turn actions are one of two things. You can spend 5 victory points to immediately take another turn, or to place one action card from each of the 3 action card discard piles back on the bottom of the deck. Now, why would you do these things? Well, the solo mode is not tied to victory points. It is pass-fail. Either you are victorious and crush the Khan under your boot and ascend to rule the wasteland yourself, or you simply become a legend they share around the campfire as they all mock any foolhardy attempt to overthrow the Khan. So it's pass-fail, and however, the victory points are representative of you gathering further support and buying yourself time before the end of the game, in which case, if you failed to conquer the Khan in that amount of time, well, then he's gathered enough strength and he crushes you, and that's it. So it allows you to stave off one of the end conditions of the game, which are still triggered in the standard ways. Any one of the Khan's Fury symbols being activated. So adding cards back to the bottom of each deck not only will allow you to recycle some of the actions, but it will stave off a game end trigger as well as some of the others. The only thing I'll say about the action decks being modified for this is the fact that they've been cut in half. There's only 1 copy of each card, but all of them are there. We've taken the level 3 advantages out of the game, but now there are 3 level 1s and 3 level 2s available. And of course, there are 3 exiles available for you to acquire exactly the way you normally would. Lastly, we've selected an exile at random during setup over here, who will be revealed as the champion of the Khan when the final showdown at the Citadel occurs. With that in mind, I'm just going to go ahead and begin, and we will see if I can succeed or not. I've chosen to play as the Blood of Tingri. After having set up the exiles, the actions, and the advantages, I've chosen this home region. I then set up the other 3 regions using a symmetrical setup for all of them, and then the same unit types from each horde, all of which are considered loyal to the Khan, are set up in the 2 territories surrounding the Citadel. So, without any further ado, let's see if I can become the new Khan. So on my first turn, I'm going to choose the Toil action, which is a recruit action. I have the same 3 options on this I would have in the standard game, of course. So I gain a favor. I will choose to resolve the text portion of it to gain 2 resources at a territory I control. So I'm going to take a look around, and I control this one where it is, look at that, 2 yellow. And I made that choice because the Exile Ghazan over here costs 3 yellow resources, grain. And lastly, I'm going to take the recruit portion, which is 3 recruit value worth of units, and that will allow me to add 1 here, here, and here. I'd actually already done that because a little rehearsal. I am not a frequent media creator, so we're winging it here tonight, folks. So now that I've completed that action, I have the resources, and following any recruit action, you have the option to acquire one of the available exiles if you have the resources, which in this case I do. So I will spend my 3. I will recruit Ghazan, add a bastion to the same territory as Ghazan. All right, so let's find our hammer friend here, and we will place it in the corner here of my home region, my starting territory. And now there are 2 bastions there, and I'll explain how that works a little more when they become relevant. It is a little different in the solo game, although they still generate points for the player, which is important because it buys you time. That is the completion of my turn, so now the Khan's turn. Now, the Khan is considered to technically be marshaling his forces, and we're trying to strike before he gathers his full might, because if we were to delay long enough, no one can take on the Khan. That would be absurd. But at this point, the Khan's turns are simply, you move the Khan's banner from one side to the other. Now, he gains either a favor or a glory, depending on where the Khan's banner was at the time. So now we are tied for favor. In the event that there's a battle, whoever has the most favor will get to roll the favor die. The Khan does not actually gain resources from it because he does not particularly care. But should he be more favored than you and roll it in the battle, you will have to lose the sort of resources that are rolled on it. So certainly staying more favored than the Khan is important. Additionally, the Khan can claim the bastions on that track as well, should he accelerate past you. And that's it for the Khan's turn. So next turn for me. All right, let's see. Oh, I forgot to replace the exile that I bought. All right, so let's see. We could use some resources. We got to get out of here and start ridding the world of these vile hordes that foolishly don't recognize a new leader is coming to liberate them. So I am going to choose a sail, which is movement, and I will take a glory. So I advance on the glory track, and I roll 2 black dice, battle dice, and I would choose another player to inflict casualties on their units equal to their choice equal to the stars roll. But sadly, I did not roll any stars. I do not wish to spend my 1 blessing to attempt to modify that, so it missed. Now, this would have been a choice for the Khan, as he is the only other player in the solo game, in which case, anytime the Khan is forced to kill his own units, he always starts with the weakest in power and moves upward. So grunts would die first, raiders second, brutes last. So now I can move, so I can explode out of one space or crunch in on another, and I will go ahead and I will crunch in on a space over here into Rust Buzzard territory. Now I'm crossing the wasteland, as you can see, and I do not have an available resource. So I have to kill one of the units that crossed it. Sorry about your grunt. Life in the wasteland is it's tough these days for everybody. All right, so now there is a contested region, as you can see, and we go to the battle board, which hopefully you can see over here. I'm going to do my best. We set the strength. Now I'm using the Blood of the Tin Green marker. So each of my grunts is worth 1 strength, so I have a strength of 4. And the Khan, you simply use markers of one of the other hordes, in this case the purple horde, and he has a strength of 2. Neither of us initially have any casualties, so the board is set. We both only have 1 type of unit, so we're both only going to roll 1 die. Now, my die roll, of course, will have all of the standard options that I can apply, taking battle actions and whatnot. However, the Khan's dice are slightly modified. He does not actually take any actions. Their dice are simply assigned following some basic modifications. So in the solo mode, stars for the Khan at this time represent casualties. So the Khan goes from 0 to 2 casualties he'll be inflicting on my units, and blanks count as 1 strength. The other results are their normal values. So at this time, the Khan is going to lose the fight to me, but he's inflicting 2 casualties. So I have a star that I could spend over here as a battle action. I'll go ahead and gain a strength, although I do not need it at this point. And that's it. I win the battle 5-2. Because I am the winner, I increase the casualties I'm going to inflict by 1 to 1. I have to resolve the casualties inflicted on me, which is 2, and I do so. I lose 2 of my grunts. The Khan has to lose 1 unit, which he does, and then he must retreat. Now, units for the Khan retreat to the nearest bastion, or if the distance is equal, they retreat to the Citadel. Well, currently this bastion is available, so the grunt retreats there. Now, I defeated 2 units in battle, and so just like in the standard rules, I gain 2 victory points. And, of course, those are very valuable for spending to maintain the game. At this time, I don't have more than 5 victory points, so there's not even any option. My turn is now complete. The Khan gains a glory, and his turn is done. Marker moves back. So back to me. So as you can see, the action as the player in the solo game is constant, and as it continues, you feel the pressure of the time crushing down on you because you only have so many actions, you only have so much time, and you have to juggle these things and continue to win battles and marshal your troops and build out your horde board with advantages, which I'm about to start looking into very strongly here in a moment, and do all of this in a timely manner. So let's see, what do I need to do? Man, oh man, that would be pretty nice. That would not. Oh, hello, Nergui. So we will go ahead and take a scavenge action. Barter. It has glory, so I will use the glory. That moves me to the 2nd spot. I get to recruit 1 in each of my home territories. So we'll do that now. I will choose to scavenge from here, and that gives me 5 grain. And I gain 1 blessing, and I may acquire exiles this turn. So that is going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and spend 4 and acquire Nergui over here. Or Negui, I don't know. I'll have to ask exactly how it's pronounced. Regardless, the dude that rides the bear and crushes your enemies, that's what we need to keep in mind. And then go ahead and replace that. So Nergui comes in, and I resolve his ability, Assault. Move all units in the same territory as Nergui to an enemy-controlled territory. You are +1 strength in each battle this turn. So, looks like we're going to jump. Now, I cannot jump into this region until I've dealt with all the outlying horde regions. So we're just going to jump right into here. Thank you very much. And looks like we got a fight on our hands, and I'm starting at +1. Now, notice this battle is taking place where there is a bastion. And this is important because the forces of the Khan gain +1 strength for each bastion in their region in the solo game. So the Khan is also going to begin at +1. He has a brute, a raider, and 2 grunts. So that is strength 6 after the +1 of the bastion. And I have 2, 4, 5. Nergui is 7, 9. I have 9 strength for strength of 10. And now we assign the battle dice just as you would in a normal game. Neither of us is favored at this point, so the favored die will not be rolled. I will be rolling, let's see, 4 dice, and then 1 for Nergui. So 5 battle dice. Oh, that's a lot of blanks. And the Khan is going to roll 3. So the Khan will we go ahead and apply all of his results. That's 2 strength, 2 casualties. Oh, we were both already at 1. That takes him to 3. And I am going to win the fight because I'm already at 10 strength. But man, do I have a lot of blanks over here. I'm actually not going to do any rerolls because blessings are so valuable. So I'm gonna absorb those losses and save the blessings. So I win the battle. He had a defense force of 4, so that's 4 victory points, taking me to 6. I increase the casualties I'm inflicting by 1. I resolve those against me, which are 3. So that's 2. Boy. I guess we'll get rid of the grunt. The grunt. Or the brute, I should say. So I lose my 3. That was tough. And now we assign the 2 casualties to the Khan, who of course loses grunts, because that is the rule. These units are already at a bastion. All other bastions are equal distance, so they must retreat to the Citadel. They will prepare for the final showdown, and I'm sure they've got tales to tell the Khan at this point. So that is the end of that turn. All right, now at this time, because I do have more than 5 victory points, I would have the option to either immediately take another turn without the Khan, gaining favor or glory, or I could go ahead and choose to take place one of each of these cards on the back of their appropriate decks. And at this point, I'm not going to do it. But you might say, well, if you're just going to take another turn right off the Khan, why would that matter? Well, because they're advancing down these tracks, which is providing benefits to the Khan resource-wise, but also pushing the game to its conclusion. So, but at this time, I'm going to hold off. All right, so the Khan, he gains a favor. He's now favored in battles against me. This moves here, and the action's back to me. All right. Well, I did say that I wanted to get some resources, but I feel like I need to recruit first. So we will enlist, and I replace an available exile. Well, who costs stuff that I don't make? Hassan, you are gone, my friend. So we'll put you on the bottom deck and reveal a new one. Maxov. And we love Maxov. All right, we also gain 2 glory. So now I score, well, we'll actually do the recruit portion first. So I will recruit 1 and another. I'll use the other 2 points there. Now I get to gain 1 point for every bastion I control. I have 2 in my home territory here, 1 over here. That's 3 points. That's going to take me to 9. And now the action is concluded. Khan gains a glory. So now, whenever the Khan triggers one of these glory recruit actions, he places units in the Citadel. Where do they come from? Well, they come from his dead units, which you are graciously supplying him. So as it turns out, he only has 3 units in the dead pile. If he couldn't fulfill it, he would only be able to do as many as he had. And those 3 are also now waiting for me at the Citadel when the showdown comes. And so now it's back to me. All right, so we need to start building our horde board here. So I'm going to take a plunder, which gives me a favor. Now, one of the things on plunder here is take 1 resource from another player. It's of any type. For the purposes of taking stuff, the Khan is considered to have any number, unlimited. So let's take a look over here. Ooh, we do like slag armor. And unfortunately, we are not positioned very well to get it. Weapons mods. Let's see. We will... We will go ahead and take the meat from that. Then we'll perform the scavenge portion. This time I'm going to take from every territory I have. So that's a food, or a grain, a meat, a scrap, a water, and another scrap. So now if I have the necessary resources, I could purchase one of the available advantages. And is that a death worm I see up there? Why, yes, that is a death worm. So we're going to go ahead and pay those 2, use this one as the wild, and we're going to take the death worm and we're going to pay the additional 2 to add it to the first slot of our horde board here, meaning that now in battles, the blood of the Tingri will get to roll the death worm die and bring death and misery on our enemies, just as we would love to do. That is now going to be replaced, just as we would do in the normal game. That action is done. So now the Khan is going to, oh, I should have moved this back. He's going to gain a favor. So I'm working on some stuff that integrates the victory points for the Khan. At this point, it's going to be very basic because this is very early in the stages of development. But every time the Khan would cross a 5 victory point status, he's going to add a blessing that will add to his strength in the final showdown. It's a little bit different, and that part's experimental, but as I said, this is in very early stages of development. So that would be the Khan's turn, and it comes back to, oh, and then that moves and it comes back to me. So let's see. I would really love to get me some slag armor. But I also need to start crushing some enemies. So let's see. That's going to be quite good. What's the move? Move is ambush. Yeah, we can do that. We'll go ahead and take this ambush card. Let's see. Oof. Yeah, we're definitely going to move up on the favor track. And replace an enemy grunt with one of your own. So we'll go ahead and replace this guy. Then we will move. Going to move out of here. And I'm going to collapse in on this space. Now, once again, I am resource dry, and the wasteland punishes me for it, but so be it. Now, you notice I did leave this corner, and it's no longer occupied. That's okay for the purposes of attacking the Khan at the end of the game. It doesn't disallow that. However, it does, mean I will score fewer points that I can later spend on stuff by vacating that. It's a trade-off I'm willing to make. All right, so now I've performed that action completely, and we have a couple contested regions. So we'll go ahead and do the small one first. Both the Khan and I have 1 unit each, so we both have strength of 1. We are inflicting no casualties. Neither of us are favored. The Khan will roll 1 die, I will roll 1 die, and I will roll the Death Worm die. So here's the Khan. That's a star. Well, it could be worse. And I roll a casualty. All right. So currently, just like the standard game, if strength is tied, the attacker wins. I am the attacker. So I'm going to defeat this unit. I get to inflict one additional casualty from the Death Worm. So I'm going to move that up to 1, but I win the fight anyway. So I'm going to gain 1 victory point. And this unit is killed. However, I also lose my unit. But that's fine. I got rid of their presence in that territory, so it was well worth it. And now we'll move... Oh, and I did roll a blank, so I grab a blessing. Now, we'll resolve this battle here, where I have a lot more dice to choose from. 1 from Nurgui, 1 for an exile, and 1 for each unit type. So 5 dice, and the Deathworm die versus 1 die. So this is going to be, you know, we're going to mop this guy up. We're just hoping he doesn't roll 2 stars for casualties. So he's only got 2 strength, and I've got lotsies. So 4, 6, 8 strength. So no concern here. We're actually rooting for blanks so we can get a lot of blessings. That's not too bad. And he rolls a blank, which is +1 strength. Not anywhere near enough. So we're going to crush him. I will not bother to apply any of my actions, but I could gain 2 additional strength, and I could activate that again and gain 1 more strength by just using the card portion with that. I will not spin there because I don't have enough, and these will result in me gaining 2 additional blessings, which I will definitely need later when it's time to fight it out with the Khan. I inflict 1 additional casualty, which is enough, and both of his guys are killed. However, I have to assign 1 of my own, and yes, bad news for you, Mr. Grunt. You're not going to make it. Alright, so now here is an interesting situation. Let's see. The next time the Khan gains favor, now he's about to gain glory, but the next time he gains favor, if he wins the race to that bastion on the favor track, he will actually get to add it to the Citadel, which only strengthens his presence there when I eventually come knocking on his door. So I could go ahead and pay 5 victory points to take another turn right now, and I would have a little more free reign. Because if I don't do it now, I have to do it on my next turn, as he will then gain it. So one way or the other, ideally I want to gain 1 more favor before the Khan gets to. As it stands, I'm going to go ahead and be patient, so I'm going to let him gain this, because I've looked ahead and I've seen the action, and I'm happy to take it. So then that moves back over. My turn, I will take Usurp. That is, and I will gain the favor. So we'll go ahead and take that right now, and we'll add it to our home. And it's another move action, and gain +1 strength at the start of the first battle this turn. Gain 1 favor. Okay, so what kind of awesome moves do we want to do here? Of course we're out of resources. I'm going to have to work on that. We will... Can I pull that off? If I were to hit the corner there, he would have 7. That's too much. That's too much. I guess we'll just swing those 2 bros in there and see how it goes. Alright, so that card is now done. And that puts us at 3 strength to begin because of the bonus of that. Khan starts at 2. And neither of us are currently inflicting any casualties, although my Deathworm will likely have something to say about that. Now, finally, I am favored, so I will also be rolling the favor die, one battle die, and the Deathworm die. So let's see what we roll here. And we roll 1 die for the Khan, who, of course, inflicts a casualty with that star. So we gain 2 blessings. We're currently tied in strength, so we're going to win this fight. But we will use the Deathworm die for a casualty, and we'll keep the blank. So the blank will give us another blessing. We win the fight. We go to 2 casualties inflicted. We gain 2 victory points, and both of the Khan's troops are killed. However, we have to choose one of ours to die, which is just another grunt. And that's the end of the turn. Back to the Khan. Oh, sorry about your Khan, no bastion for you. Guess you should have... in this case, it's not favor with the Khan, it's favor with the people, of course. So currently we are trending very well with the locals. This moves back to the other side. So, let's see. We could get a lot of water. What we really want is meat, because I want that slag armor. So, let's see. If we move in there and feed a grunt to the machine, we only need 4. It's a little risky. That seems like the play. Okay, here we go. We'll take a recruit action. I will gain the glory. Then I will use the recruit portion of it, and I will recruit a raider and a grunt in my home territories there. I will then use the muster action portion, recruit 1 at each territory I control. So we're going to go grunt, 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 and grunt. Yes, some of you aren't going to make it across the wasteland, but I'm okay with that. Alright, so that is all for that action. The Khan now gains a favor, or a glory. Now this is rough. I've been dragging my feet a little too much, and the Khan, when he does this, he's going to add 1 bastion to each territory he controls with a bastion. Of course, each providing an additional strength in a battle. And then he's going to score. So the Khan currently controls 7 bastions. So that takes him to 9. And we're going to go ahead and he's unlocking this blessing token, which will be used in the final showdown. And for the Khan, it simply adds 1 to his strength at the start of the battle. Okay, so this moves back. And it's about time to go punch some Khan loyalists in the face. Let's see. That is a move action, and charge we will. So we'll gain 3 blessing tokens. It's almost time to start putting some of those to use. And we are going to move into this space. Let's see. We're going to need a little bit of grunt cannon fodder. So this guy does not make it across the wasteland. Sorry, my friend. Alright, now you may notice that I have 3, 5, 8 units per army limit. The Khan is not. However, I anticipate at least one of my guys dying here, so we brought in a little insurance to protect our valuable units. So I'm going to be rolling 5 battle dice. The Death Worm, and neither of us will be rolling the favor die. The Khan will be rolling 1 die. So, Khan, oh, I didn't set the board. So I am inflicting 2 casualties, and the Khan is not inflicting any to begin. And I have 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11 strength. So obviously it's going to be an easy victory here. And that is, the Khan got all the way up to 3. We're really proud of you and your little outpost. We wind up with 13. We will go ahead and spend 3 stars here to gain a favor. Got to stay ahead of the Khan. And we did 2 additional strength. We'll inflict another casualty. And we win the fight. We get 2 victory points for that. Both of his guys are destroyed. He did not inflict any casualties, but our logistics can't quite handle this population. So we have to go down to 6. So we lose 2 grunts anyway. And that would be it. The Khan goes, gains a favor. back over here. And it's actually, I should have put him over here. So he moves here, and now that moves. My bad. Okay, so back to me. Time to smash some of these guys. Oh, ironically, the move action that is up is traverse. How wonderful. Alright, so we're going to take Scout off the scavenge pile, and we will gain a glory, which pushes us up here, which we love. We get to recruit 2 in value in each of our home territories, and we will gladly do so. Yes. Then we will scavenge from here, taking 6 meat. And we get to move 2 units. So I'm going to go ahead and move these 2 to here. And the action is now complete. I can purchase an upgrade or an advantage, which I gladly will. And we'll get ourselves some slag armor. So that, we will pay a tax of 1 to put it in this slot. So now slag armor reduces the casualties inflicted on us in each battle by 1. And that's a good thing, because we are very shortly going to be getting into the region where the Khan starts hitting back a lot harder. And we'll see how that goes. So my turn is done, and the Khan gains a favor, moves back here. Alright, so time for some business. Let's see, we don't want to do that. We do want to do that. So we're going to traverse, which will take the favor for 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we will cross the wasteland into here, closing in on that space. We will pay the 1 resource, or no, we will not pay the resource because we get to ignore it because we're traversing. Alright, that is complete. Now we get to have a battle here. We'll be rolling 3 battle dice as we have grunts, brutes, and raiders, and the deathworm die. We are in fact favored, so that's very exciting. And the Khan will be rolling 1 battle die. So they have a strength of 2, no casualties, and we have 1, and that is, here's the Khan's roll. He rolls 2 stars. That's going to sting a little bit. And that is 6 stars, so we've got lots of goodies there. And so the Khan moves up to 2 casualties. His dice are resolved. We gain a resource of our choice. At this point, I'm not so sure we care too much. I guess we'll take a scrap, but not necessarily looking at another advantage at the moment. All right, and then we will gain a strength and a casualty. We have tons of strength, and easily crush the forces of the Khan. We gain another blessing. So now we do have to inflict 2 casualties on our unit, which will be reduced by 1 due to our awesome slag armor. Oops. Wrong territory, so that one is the one that dies, and there we go. So here we go. Those units are removed. Khan's turn. Now this is scary, so I'm tempted to go ahead and start skipping turns, because if the Khan gets to recruit here, he's going to get to recruit 6 units into the Citadel, and I don't know if I want to deal with that. So I don't know if I can stop it forever, but let's see. That's a lot. We will go ahead and try. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I just paid 5 victory points. Rather than Khan getting to take a turn, I immediately take another turn. Now it's important to note that I can't take another turn immediately and then also replace cards on the bottom of the deck, which is coming and I'm about to do. So here we go. Let's see. We will go ahead and march. And I can march. Ooh, that's unfortunate. But it is what it is. So march does not actually have favor or glory, but that's okay. We're going to march into this corner here, and we're going to try to do it with just enough units to win, where they die and we don't have to move any out. So I'm looking at the Khan situation, and I see 5 strength, 1 casualty, and he's going to be rolling 3 dice, but he's also got 2 bastions. So the question is, what can I get to 7 strength with? I'm in pretty good shape. I've got tons of blessings. So I think, since I don't have to hold it, we're going to move in with, we definitely want casualties inflicted on the Khan, because we don't want these guys retreating to the center of the board. So we're going to move in with our 3 raiders, 1 grunt, and 1 brute. So that takes us to 2, 4, 6 strength. So the Khan is actually getting stronger than us, but we have several casualties. All right, we are currently favored. We get the Deathworm die, and we get 3 other dice. The Khan will be rolling 3 dice this time. Let's see how this goes. Okay, those are all +1 strength results for the Khan, so he just got to 10 strength. That's it's certainly not impossible, but it could be costly. All right, so we'll gain 2 strength, going to 8. We need 2 more strength, and we can get there. So we'll go ahead and use the favor die to gain a resource of our choice, which will be a scrap. We will apply this here, gaining 1 strength and 1 casualty. And then we will assign this here, gaining 2 strength, which puts us at 11. And we still have 2 stars. We'll just put that there and gain another strength. It is what it is. And we crush him. We're going to gain 4 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then our casualties we're actually going to take is reduced by 1 from the slag armor. So we're actually not going to lose any guys. That's crazy. I was expecting it to be a total bloodbath. Whereas we are actually going to kill all 4 of the Khan's units, which is good, but we made a slight miscalculation. So we got the casualties right, but we had a few more units than we needed. So now we're at the end of the turn. However, because the game ends in the same way, is triggered in the same way, I only have 1 move card left in the deck. So I'm going to spend 5 victory points, going to 11, and I'm going to place 1 random card from each discard pile under the appropriate deck. And so this is being done to stave off the end of the game. Now, of course, the way to earn victory points in this case, in most cases, will be to continue winning battles. And I certainly intend to do that. However, I feel like I've drugged my feet a little more than usual in this one, so it could be close. And I'll tell you this, many times it takes more than 1 attack on the Citadel at the end of the game to close out the deal. All right, so because I spent that way, I do not get to take another turn immediately. The Khan gains a glory, and he recruits. He always recruits the most strength possible. So all 6 of these points of recruit go in the Citadel, which just made life a lot tougher. And his turn is done. This moves over here. All right, so we got to get our guys where our guys need to be. Man, I guess that's a recruit. That's the last real problem child zone there. So we're going to take a fortify, add a bastion to a territory. So I'm going to go ahead and put 1 right here. And I get to recruit equal to the number of bastions I control. Now, I currently control 6 bastions. I don't have anywhere near that many units, but I do have 4, and I'm going to put all of them here. Because we're going to try to use grunt power only to knock out this corner. And we'll see how that goes. Alright, so the Khan takes his turn. He gains 3 victory points. 1, 2, 3. Unlocking another blessing for the end of the game and moving back over here. Ah, boy. So that's a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. We're going to rally, which means we are going. We could recruit 2 as part of the rally action, but we don't have any available units to recruit at the moment. Although I feel like the Khan's gonna create a few here in a minute. So we're just gonna send all those grunts in, get them mangled, and the Khan has a strength of 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 plus 2 bastions, 8. Ridiculous. I have a strength of 6 in grunts alone. Khan is inflicting 1 casualty. I'm not inflicting any. And in this case, I will only be rolling 1 die plus the Deathworm die, because I do not have a combined arms army here. And the Khan will be rolling 3. So we will see how this goes. Currently, it's within reach, but it could go very bad. So, oh, man, I think he's going to get us. Come on, stars. Oh, wait, we got lots of blessings. I think we'll be okay. Whew. All right, so the Khan gains 1 strength, going to 9. He gains 3 casualties, going to 4. And nobody gets that. So I'm going to spend 3 of my blessings to choose the facing of one of my, because I need 3 strength, yes. So I'm going to turn this to 2 fists. That gets me to 8. Then I'm going to spend 3 more to turn this to a 2-star result, which I assign here. And that gives me 1 additional strength and 1 casualty. It gets me to 9, tying the Khan, and 1 casualty. So that results in me winning the battle. It was close, but that is 5 victory points. That's good news. We're going to need those soon. Increasing the casualties I inflict by 1 for winning the battle. The Khan hits me for 4, so that's fairly efficient because I won't have to march guys out of there. I'll probably just leave them be unless the right card comes up. And I kill 2 of his units, which he chooses grunts to lose. And then these guys relocate to the middle, which is starting to get crowded. All the defeated units that are going to be looking for payback gathering at the Citadel in defense of this false Khan. We are the true Khan, and we will teach him a valuable lesson. We hope. All right, so that is the conclusion of that action. I am going to spend another 5 victory points, going to 11, to again put cards back on the bottom, because we are heading towards that final showdown. Now, it's important to note that the game will not end instantly if I run out of those cards. It will simply trigger the Khan's Fury. And much like in the basic game, then we just start moving these down. And we'll score bastions accordingly. The Khan will, of course, score the bastions that he has. And then we'll finish round. Well, what is a round? A round is the player turn and the Khan turn. As if I continue spending 5 VP to take another turn, the round hasn't finished because the Khan has not gotten a turn. Once the Khan gets his next turn, then we move to the last round, which behaves in the same way. The step after the last round is the game end. Now, we don't actually get to the game end unless the Khan takes his turn in the last round. Now, needless to say, if that happens, the Khan has amassed sufficient forces to crush your puny uprising, and he destroys you and you lose. However, if before that point you successfully win a battle in the Citadel, you do not have to kill all of the units, you simply have to win the battle, then you are victorious and the game ends immediately. So, if any of these decks were to be depleted, it would simply trigger the Khan's Fury and move the game that much closer to the end. So I'm not, I'm prolonging that for the moment, but pretty soon I'm going to be willing to let it go because just like in the standard game, then the decks will be reshuffled. So I won't really be worried about running out of actions at that point. I will be a little bit worried if I allow the Khan's Fury to trigger the end game too soon. So, let's see. That means it's the Khan's turn. And this should move back. He gains a favor. Alright, so now we're going to need to get some favor before the Khan, because we don't want him having another bastion. So back to me. This moves here. I take a charge. Oh, looky there. We've got a lovely, lovely march as the next action. So we will gain 3 blessings. And that's going to be really, really good. So all of our guys are trapped there for the moment. Alright, so we're going to explode out of here into these 2 zones. We'll use our march out of that bastion on the next turn. We'll gain a favor. Oh, that is so bad. The Khan is going to get a favor before we do. We'll see. Maybe there's a way around that. So, how do we deal? I've already gained that. I've already gained that. I've moved. That turn is done. I will pay 5 victory points and take another turn. We will march. So I have now taken the last move action, which is going to activate the Khan's Fury at the end of the turn. So I will march from a bastion I control. So I march to here. Then I will march across the wasteland. It is time to invade the Khan's region. Now, of course, I'm still bound by the army size limitation, so I don't want too many guys to survive in excess of 6. Oh, we will come into here. We definitely want our raiders because we want to inflict as many casualties as possible so that the Khan cannot reinforce the Citadel with survivors. So that is 5 units. We'll go 6 units. 7, 8, 9. I think the Khan is pretty likely to inflict enough casualties to knock me down some there. So we'll go in with those units, which is a lot. I pay 1 to cross the wasteland, so looks like we're pretty much all in with that. That is 2, 4, 6, 7, 9, 11, 13, 14 strength. And I have 3 casualties. And the Khan has legit forces now. We're getting into his homeland, and this is no joke. So he has 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 strength. And he is inflicting 3 casualties from the Gideon. Alright, so the Khan will be rolling 3 dice. I will be rolling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Neither of us are favored. And I will also be rolling the Deathworm die as per usual. So the Khan's result, let's hope for a little luck here. Okay, so we're definitely going to be winning the battle because that only gets him to 15 strength. I'm sure we can beat that. But that gives him another casualty. So we're losing, well, 3 because we do have the slag armor. We assign these 2 fists and we go to 16 strength. And we will go ahead and use 2 of our blessings to re-roll these dice right here. No stars. Okay. We're just hoping for 1. Alright, well, we'll save the blessings. We'll gain another 2 strength, which takes us to 13. And then we'll do this to gain a favor and snipe that right out from under the Khan. So that was one of the big reasons why I had to move right then. I could not tolerate any further. Let's see, we've got another casualty here. So it gets us to 4. Man, oh man, we need more than that. I am going to spend 3. Do I really want to spend 3? I think we're going to need those blessings. Alright, well, it's going to be quite a showdown in the Citadel there. So I win the fight. It takes me to inflicting 5 casualties. My slag armor reduces the Khan's casualties by 1. He's inflicting on me. The Khan had 9 units in there, so I'm going to gain 9 victory points, going to 15. The Khan, or I have to lose 3 units, so we don't actually have a lot of grunts. So we'll go ahead and lose 2 raiders and a grunt. And notice, at least that part I got right, we only have 6 units left, which is the army max. Now we apply our 5 casualties to the Khan, who of course always loses the weakest units first. This takes him down to, we get rid of the grunts, and he's got to lose 1 more. He loses a raider because it provides less power. And the other units retreat into the middle. So his force in the middle is getting ridiculous. So we've got this. And that is the end of our turn. So now the Khan is going to gain a glory. This moves back. Oh, I forgot. Because the move deck was depleted, it is now reshuffled completely and added back there. And we enact the Khan's Fury. So, I'm going to gain 2 points for each bastion I control. I did not garrison my corners, which may turn out to be unwise, but that is 3, 4, 5 bastions, 10 points. It's 25. The Khan, he's going to gain 2 bastions at each place he has bastions. So 2 more get dropped into here, bringing this total to, I believe it's 5 bastions. Yes. And then he's going to score 2 points for each. That's going to be 10. So that's going to take him to 22. And he's going to gain both these for the final showdown. Okay. So now we finish the round, which I actually just did by giving the Khan his turn. So now we are in the last round. Now, of course, I'm going to be staving off the game's end with victory points, which I can do 5 times. So technically, at this point, I'm looking at 5 or 6 more turns that I can take before the game comes to its final end, one way or the other. Perhaps if I defeat the Khan before that. So I'm going to need some more units. So it's going to be a recruit. So we're going to go ahead and recruit 3 grunts to there. Then we are going to gain a glory. And we are going to then resolve the promote portion of it. Roll 2 black dice. Replace a number of your grunts with brutes or raiders equal to the number of stars rolled. We're going to use some blessings here if it doesn't go our way. And that will be 3 blessings to turn this one into a double star. So we can replace... actually, I don't need to do that because I don't have them. So we'll go ahead and keep those guys. And I will simply replace 2 of these with raiders. That's sufficient. That card is done. Now, I cannot let the round end, so I'm going to pay 5 victory points because otherwise the game would end. Now it's time to move. It's just about showdown time. Alright, so we're going to assail. And, oh, yes, definitely want to do that. We'll gain the glory here, which gives us 1 victory point for each bastion we control, which is 5, so that's going to buy us another turn, thank goodness. We're going to roll 2 dice, choose another player to inflict casualties on units of their choice equal to the stars rolled. And let's see. So I'm not going to mess with any of my blessings because we're going to need those. So one, I don't choose the region. The Khan always chooses a region outside of the Bastion first, and he chooses the weakest unit, so he's going to kill that. Or, I mean, the Citadel. And now I move. I pay a resource to cross. We're going to converge on this territory. And we want to send some help, but we got to leave a guy back here in case we got to do some recruiting to bolster up for the big showdown. So we want to make sure we keep 6 people back. We'll send one of the exiles. That's 3, 6, 9, 10. Very believable he could do 4 casualties, but we'll see how it goes. You know, we're going to hold 1 brute back just to be safe. All right, so here we go. Big fight before the last showdown. We're tightening our grip on the Khan. So now we have the Khan's strength. He has 3, 6, 8, 10, 11. 11 strength for the Khan. And we have 2 for Gazan, 4 with the brute, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. So we are starting a little weaker than the Khan. He has 3 raiders, so starting at 3 casualties. We have 3 raiders, so starting at 3 casualties. And it's time to do the fight. So this is going to be a good one. The Khan starts with 3 dice. We are favored over the Khan, so we will be rolling the favor die. And we have just 4 dice. And the death one die. Lots of fun stuff. And the Khan adds 3 strength. He gets to 14, and he increases by 1 casualty. Alright, so we should be able to handle that. We only need to come up with 4 strength. So we're going to go ahead and gain the victory point off the blessing die. Then we are, let's see, looks like we're going to be spending some blessings. So we're going to spend 3 blessings here to turn this blank into a 2-fist. And we're going to assign that. So that's 12 strength. Then we're going to assign this here to gain 2 strength. So now we've tied. We're going to be winning the battle. We're going to go ahead and inflict an additional casualty using that and gaining the strength. And then 2 more casualties due to the death worm. So our dice are all assigned except for this one. So we'll go ahead and gain 1 more strength. And we do win. We're going to gain 9 more VP, so that's going to take us to 35. So we bought more time yet to lay the foundation, and that's a good thing. For winning the fight, we raise the casualties. Now we are capped at 6. This battle board, of course, as everything you see here is prototype, late stage, but it's what we sent to the media people and reviewers and whatnot. And so now we win the fight, we gain the victory points, we inflict the casualties we take, which is 4, reduced by 1 for the slag armor, and we'll lose 3 grunts. Looks like we sent the right number of troops. We're going to punch the Khan for 6 casualties. That's great news. We really needed to hit him hard. And so that's going to be 3 grunts. Oh, he only has 2 grunts there, yeah, because of the assail. So we're actually going to eat into his brutes as well. That is very, very helpful. The rest retreat into the Citadel. So we are at final showdown time. And I got to tell you, we're going to need more units. I will pay 5 victory points to stave off the end of the round. And we need to recruit. And, oh, that's funny, we could do that. Invade and start a fight. But I don't, maybe. Alright, that's kind of funny. In fact, this is really funny and very helpful. So I'm going to invade. So it's a recruit action. I am +1 recruit point and may recruit directly into enemy controlled territory this turn. And so here's what we're going to do. And this is hilarious. We're going to recruit 3 grunts to here and 1 grunt right into the middle. Now you might say, why in the world would you do that? Of course he's going to get slaughtered. True, but I'm going to get to roll the death worm die and potentially inflict a few casualties along the way and soften the Khan up a little bit before the real battle gets started. You know, obviously it's a freebie, but we will take it. And more importantly, it's going to knock these blessings off. So actually weaken the Khan a little bit for when I send in the real assault, which is coming next turn. Now the Khan does have five bastions there, so he's starting at 5 strength, and he's from there. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 23. So the Khan is at 23 strength on top of the 5. So we loop around to 28. We are at 1. Oh, and he pops the 4 blessings. So he's now actually at 32. Now he does not actually resolve his ability. They're a little too complex to manage that, but he is the Khan's elite bodyguard. So that's 2 more strength. So only 34 strength versus my 1. This should be an interesting fight, to say the least. Oh, the Khan is also setting at 5 casualties to begin, and us at none. But the good news is we're favored. That's helpful. We roll the death one die and 1 die, and the Khan will be rolling 4 dice. So he caps out on casualties. He gains 2 more strength to 36, for which we do not care. And we are going to get it. I can't believe that was a star. Makes me a little sad in my heart, Deathworm. What are you doing over here? We take a resource, which is disappointing, and we'll use these 2 dice and inflict 1 casualty, which, of course, the Khan kills a grunt. So we're glad the Khan, at the end of the day, we popped his 4 blessings and we killed a grunt in exchange for the 1. So the reality is we lost 1, potential strength of our own to do 5 and learn who his exile was going to be. So I think that's a pretty good trade strategically. All right, so that turn is over, but we're not going to let the round in. We're going to pay 5 victory points, and now it's really go time. So we're going to charge. We're going to gain 4 victory points via favor and 3 blessings. And so now we have an interesting choice, because I would really, really like to crush the Khan in this 1 attack, but I don't think that I can. And if I lose and I send everybody in and they get slaughtered, then I can't recruit here. So we're actually going to hold 1 grunt back. And if we get beat and have to retreat, we're going to retreat to there. And we probably will get beat. So, now the question is, how many casualties is he going to inflict? Probably 6. So I guess we're safe to swing with all these dudes. Alright, so here we go. Everybody but this grunt is going in. So it's going to be 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 13, 15, 16 strength for me to begin. And the Khan, somewhat reduced. He's got 5 beginning from his bastions, 2 from Zoo. So just that alone is a 7. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you add the Raiders. You add the Grunts. It's 1, 2, 3. I see 4. So he's at 16. So now he's tied with us. Oh, and now it's time for his Brutes. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 more from there. So he's actually lapped again and is at 33. Okay. So, as you can see, we're going to get pounded here. But, you know, you gotta make a dent somewhere. Alright, so we start with 5 dice, the Death Worm die, and the Favor die, and the Khan, because now he has an exile, is rolling 4 dice again. So, oh, I forgot to set casualties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now with those, the Khan caps at 6. He gains 2 more strength, and I think we can get him this round. So we want to inflict as many casualties as we can. So that's going to be, we'll assign these 2 dice here to gain 1 strength and 1 casualty. Oh, we were already inflicting 3, so that puts us at 4. Then we get 2 blessings from the Favor die. We'll be needing those next turn. We'll go ahead and spend 2 of them and re-roll these. Didn't really get any better. So I guess we'll gain 2 strength. We will inflict another casualty, and we'll gain a blessing. So, at the end of that fight, the Khan wins 35 to 19. So, he crushes us, but that's okay. And we have to take 6 casualties. So we're going to lose these 3 Grunts, these 3 Raiders, and we're going to retreat to here. Now, the Khan, we only lose 5 units because good old Slag Armor keeps an eye out on us, so that's a big help. However, the Khan still has to kill 5 guys, and he always starts with his Grunts, so we may actually succeed in knocking one of his dice off here, which is a big help. So that's 4, and we eat into one of his Raiders. That's 5. We have definitely put a dent in his mojo. Alright, so now, once again, to stave off into the game, we spend 5 victory points. So we get to take another turn. Looks like it's got to be some recruit. We need some more muscle. We're going to gain a favor. That would trigger the end of the game, but we're already in the Khan's Fury having been activated. So, recruit, take 1 blessing from another player. So Khan is considered to have an infinite supply for the purpose of stealing. We're going to recruit and recruit. And that's it for that. Then we're going to pay 5 and go again. Whew. How much is he at? 6, 12, 16, 22, 27 with 3 dice. Oof. I think it's going to be... I think we need a little more exile help. So we're going to exploit. We, at a bastion we control, we scavenge. So we're just going to gain a grain. Then we're going to scavenge here for 6 of anything we want. And man, oh man, do we want max off. So we're going to go ahead and get 6 water. And we'll be done with that. paying 5. So we're down to only 2 more turns at this point. If we had at most. We're gonna recruit, gaining 2 glory, which is gonna give us a free exile. So first we resolve that, and we're gonna take Leica and Zara. Hello, adding you right there, and replace an available exile. We will have replaced you, old egg, because we only have eyes for max off. All right, redeem. Oof, that is a lot of extra dice, but I feel like we're capped on dice. We want the big guy. We've already paid for him, so we buy max off as well. Oh, and I should be doing that at the end. So the recruit there is this. Oh, no, you can't do that. I guess it's just going to be exiles all in, huh? The all exile squad all the time. All right, so Magsoff joins the fray, and Leica and Zara. I guess we can get one in there. So Grunt, doesn't really matter. We'll send the Grunt. All right, we're going to stave off the games in for 1 more turn. I cannot recruit any further. I could scavenge. Oh, I spent those 2 and this 2. I could do that and make it one last final showdown. I don't think that matters. That would give me the 3. Ooh, that would buy me 1 backup turn, but I don't know. I don't know that even matters. So we're just going to go for the gusto. This is testing. So here we go, folks. If this doesn't work, we are pretty much doomed. All right, usurp. We're going to gain another favor, and here we go. At the start of the first battle this turn, we're +1 strength, and we gain a blessing. So it's all in time, folks. That is, we're going to start at 1 there. The Khan is already at 7 with Zoo standing on the pile of bastions, which is terrifying. And we are coming with everything that we can. It's all or nothing. So 3, 4, 7, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21 more strength. So we are at 22. But the Khan, oh boy. All right, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So he's at 23. Then we add his raiders. 1, 2, 3, 4 more. 27. We do have a chance. We could pull this off, or it could go horrible. All right, so here we go. The Khan has his. Oh, but he's only rolling 3 because we killed all of his grunts. Lovely. We now are rolling 4, 5 favor die, Deathworm die. Here we go, folks. Oh, jeez. We're alive. The Khan just got to 28. He's doing, casualties. Not that it's much going to matter. So we're starting at 2. And of course the Khan, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're unconcerned with that. So the Khan is at 28. So we only need 2 for it. We've got to come up with 7 strength. Oops. Can it be done with this mess? We did not roll as good as we needed. We can alter. Oh, yeah. We're going to pull it off. We are going to pull it off. So we're going to turn this spend these 3 to turn this to 2 fists, and we'll assign it. We gain 2. We're going to spend 3 more blessings, turning this to 2 fists to gain 2. We're going to spend our last 3 blessings to turn this to 2. We are now 1 short, and we're going to go star plus 2 strength, star plus 1 strength. We have surpassed the Khan. We gain a resource off the blessing die, which doesn't matter because soon the Citadel will be ours. We gain 1 additional casualty, and we have defeated the Khan 30 strength to 28 strength for glorious victory. We do not have to completely wipe him out. We simply have to win a battle there, which would, of course, drive him out of his Citadel, and we are the champions. Had we lost that, we would have only had 1 more turn, but I think you can see we would not have had time to have sufficient forces for another assault. So that was 100% all in. The game is, we're still adding a little more excitement to it, and we're thinking about some other things. We don't know exactly what we can add and play with here or there, but it usually takes about an hour to play and testing. The shortest game has been 45 minutes. The longest has been 1 hour and 10 minutes. I have not been watching the timer on this video with the commentary, so I cannot say. Hopefully you found this interesting and entertaining. I'd love to hear your feedback, and please understand that, of course, it's all prototype, and that this is the early stages of the solo mode that I'm still working to make as exciting for you who like to have a solo mode in your game as possible. So again, I apologize for the poor quality of the video as I'm filming from my basement, and I am not the guy who usually makes our videos, but I want to share it with you and hope you enjoyed the video. And we thank you for supporting Kolossal Games and Ruination. We love this game, and we love making games for you, and we are so grateful for the opportunity. So thanks for watching, thanks for backing, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon. Bye, everyone.